In the State of the Union address tonight, the president is expected to have some harsh words for a divided Congress and tough GOP critics, but he's also going to have to address the disastrous rollout of the Affordable Care Act. For a preview of tonight's address, we're joined now by Arthur Delaney, staff reporter at the Huffington Post. Arthur, thanks for coming in this morning. Already taking action this morning.
That's right. President Obama, the White House has announced that he will issue executive order to raise the minimum wage for workers of federal contractors to $10.10 an hour.
So that's in advance of the speech tonight. When it comes to the State of the Union, you know, typically the president will kind of laud some of the accomplishments of the past year. This year, two things stand out. One, obviously, Congress's inability to work together.
Right.
And then the president had that tough rollout to the health care plan. So how's he going to turn this into a positive-looking, forthcoming 2014?
Well, he'll be able to talk about people getting health insurance. So I'd be surprised if he really dwelled on how bad the website worked. But the big difference between this year and last year is that the president called on Congress to do things. He said, we need gun control. We can't have these mass shootings like with Gabby Giffords, for instance. This year, executive action, going around Congress, using his pen and the power of the bully pulpit to try to get things done. And the big focus is going to be on income inequality. And that's why he's saying we're going to raise the minimum wage for federal workers going forward. No one's going to get a raise immediately as a result of this, but future contracts after this order is signed will have that $10.10 an hour minimum wage.
Is it a good strategy for the president to kind of, like you said, that bully pulpit, or to kind of parlay off of at least what we had with the budget, where we did see Congress coming together to take action? Well,
the budget came together, but that was after we had that awful government shutdown,
right,
and nobody in Congress wanted to do that again. But there had been a lot of things from gun control and so forth that Congress was not able to get done. Unemployment insurance, for instance, I'm sure the president will mention that Congress let benefits lapse for 1 million long-term unemployed. But he can't force them to do anything, so I think he will focus on what he can do, and that is raising the minimum wage. He's also going to announce that he's got a pledge from several major CEOs to not ignore the long-term unemployment in hiring decisions. So one of the reasons people can't get jobs is simply that they haven't got jobs for a long time. And this is part of the president's effort to do what he can without a divided Congress.
How are we different this January, end of January, than we were end of January when we saw this last time?
Well, we've got Obamacare entrenched. We've got the president, like you said, a little bit bruised from the bad rollout. His approval rating is a little bit lower. But we've also got a lot more widespread recognition that income inequality is a major problem, and Republicans trying to look for ways that they can not only change their message, but maybe also sign on to policies that help working people. And the minimum wage is one thing that, while they have not loved to talk about it, historically Republicans have supported it. The last increase happened under George W. Bush's watch.
You've been covering these for a little bit now. When you go there and you see it, you watch, and do you think it's going to be any different this year with such a divided Congress? Is there going to be more of a feeling of fellowship or friendship or agreement?
No. You remember a few years ago when lawmakers were having these bipartisan seating arrangements?
Exactly.
And that was such a feel-good story. But then we had the you lie incident with the really uncivil behavior.
Right.
I don't think we'll see a lot of comedy. I also don't think we'll have another you lie moment. It's the 5th State of the Union Obama's delivered. I think it will be more familiar and less fireworks will happen this time.
All right, we're going to wait and see what happens. We appreciate the breakdown. Arthur Delaney from Huffington Post, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Certainly appreciate it.